Hi, everybody.
Welcome
Human
to,
beings.
after a long break, Alex and Kelsey,
And
Elyana, late night advice show. Thank you for joining us. I'm sure
Yes,
you've
of
missed
course.
us.
It's been a
Changed the
beautiful,
day.
yeah, I'm sorry that we're kind of changing the days around, but we're figuring things out for summer and we're
Conflict with
making
the
it.
network.
Yeah, exactly. Blame Comcast or Time Warner. Fuck them.
But we have an extra special show for you today, featuring a new how-to segment that we'll reveal a little bit later in the show.
With our special Dr. Fitchner, possibly.
Dr. Finchner, a sex therapist and budding Scientologist, is going
Everyone
to
that
be
we
on
know is
air.
considered a sex therapist, too. That's
Dr. Lindsay was I guess you could say.
I think he got his license revoked recently.
Yeah, I think there was definitely some license revoked. But so we're on the air and we already have a problem to address. So we're going to get down to business. You can tweet us your problems at
A_pay_help_you. Because Alex and Kelsey help you.
Or if you want to send me a private message, nothing foul, you can do so at area code
Or something
9
foul.
or something foul, let's be real. 956-432-36. Okay. So, are we ready for this problem, or should we do another one to then transition?
Yeah.
Do another one? Okay. Did we have a problem that we were going to address?
What to do when
you had a friend who might have an issue?
Runs away to a
when your lover joins a cult, it happens.
All right, what to do when your lover joins a cult?
Okay. All right.
Well, these are important problems.
I feel like we need some steps, similar to how Scientology has steps.
Yeah.
A lot of steps.
One of our dear friends, Dr. Fitchner, recently went on a date to the Scientology temple in Austin. Is that the word for it? Sanctuary? Church of Scientology.
I don't know sanctuary.
Yeah, but
I think there was a sanctuary.
really brought up an issue with what to do if your lover joins a cult.
Which is a valid concern if you live in Los Angeles.
That is true. I mean, honestly, I think how many Scientologists and Kabbalah monsters are there? And yeah.
They're scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
it's full with blonde hair and ripped ends.
I think sometimes the best thing to do is to talk to them about why they would join the cult. Because a lot of times people that join the cults are feeling lost. They don't feel like they don't know who they are, and maybe they feel like they need a change in their life. And
the major red flag.
And
the
issue is that if they feel lost and they might need a big change in their life, then maybe they may need to do it without you. And if it's something self-destructive like joining a cult, then maybe that's the best way to go about it. It doesn't necessarily mean that you need to leave them immediately. Try to maybe talk to them and don't.
How do you get them out?
Yeah, to get them out. I mean, best thing to do would probably talk to them, explain to them why joining a cult is harmful to them.
It depends on. I'm sorry.
Oh no, that's it. Yeah.
No, I was gonna say it depends on how long I think you've been in a relationship. If you've only been on a few dates, then definitely just never show up again.
Yeah.
Or send them a message. But if they're somebody that you dated for a while, allow yourself, depending on the length of time, 6 months, one serious conversation. If that doesn't make a difference, get out. Longer than 6 months, say a year, 2 serious conversations, maybe 3.
If you've married for 15 years, all right, work on it.
Sometimes you have mad at divorce. I'm just kidding.
Drop it like it's hot, bitch.
But
because believe me, the only thing with that is if you divorce them, there is no way you're getting any sort of like alimony or child support because they're putting all of that money on Scientology.
That's a good point.
So,
I think if it is a longer relationship, definitely get to the root of the problem. Why does your partner feel like they need to join a cult?
Yeah.
Or,
why would they feel so lost?
if it's a problem you think you can help solve, or if it's a problem that you think you can talk to that person about, I think definitely go that route before doing anything that's drastic like divorce.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think divorce. I always say divorce is like the last option.
Try to work it out.
Don't like aim for it. Like don't think like, well, I'll just invite them to the next wedding. But at the same time, obviously, if you have been married for a long period of time and they're really involved in this cult and it's really detrimental to you and your family, then I guess, and they won't listen to reason, then seriously look into that. I suppose if that's the case, that you feel like that is necessary.
And it could be either a quarter life or a midlife crisis that, you know, like similar to, you know,
So just
becoming Baptist randomly, like
buy him a motorcycle. I don't even understand.
because I think that it definitely could be one of those two things, or crushing emotional instability.
Combination, maybe.
You never know. Could be either side of the spectrum. But I think, you know, we've agreed to have a few solid conversations.
Yeah,
Right.
and
Don't give up immediately.
Right.
Yeah. Remember that it's because they feel lost, and it's because they're looking for some sort of direction or change in their life. And so maybe take it from that angle instead of just being like, what the fuck are you doing? You know?
Yeah.
So,
as I might be perfect.
Yeah.
If I learned that my lover has been taken away by the...
As would I. Did we want to address the other question?
Okay, so...
From our dear friend, who will remain nameless.
A dear friend says, an old flame came back into my life and has been persistent. I know he's not good for me, but I can't seem to pull myself away. I'm pretty much over him, but I always feel like I should go back. What should I do?
Easy and hard answer, don't come back.
Yeah.
I think there's probably, I'm going to take this at face value and apply it to situations that I think we've all kind of been in on some level, you know, throughout our lives, is that usually that person may not be the best person for you, even as attracted or as much history as you might have with that person. And I think that without knowing every detail of the situation, I'm going to assume that it maybe is not necessarily best if the person gets back with the old flame. I don't know.
Yeah, I think definitely you want to go back, go through the choices that led you to not end up with that person, and really find out like what it was that broke you apart, and kind of figure out if those problems have been dealt with, and if they haven't, you know, it's something that you really have to address and think about and make sure that you still like don't agree with what he's doing.
Mm-hmm. On top of that, just like the regular problems, sometimes there's history can cause like emotional issues between the two of you guys, and I'm an expert on this sort of a situation because but sometimes you go back and you start talking, and like for the first day or so you're like, oh my god, this is exactly like what I missed, and like you remember all the good times and you're like, this is wonderful and this is what I wanted. And then about day 2, slowly it starts coming up, like you start remembering the reasons why you're like, oh my god, this is why I'm not talking to you anymore. Yeah. And what you need to do is learn to just start remembering those before it even gets to the point where things have started. Because once things have started, you've got that ball rolling, and it can mess things up with any new people that come across, like whoever you're talking to now. The best thing you can do is just remind yourself it wasn't good, and that even if this person that you're talking to now doesn't work out, there are so many people out there that could be way, way better than that. So, and you might not know them yet. And if you stick with this person, then that could stop you from ever meeting someone better. Because you already know what you have. Don't settle for just because they're there.
I also think this is one of the few situations where I think let him or her down easy does not apply. If it's someone that you have a history with and you guys were very clear that whatever you had ended, and he's being very persistent and trying to come back into your life, and he knows that he shouldn't, you know, I think the let him down easy rule should not apply, and just have a very straightforward conversation and say, this was over, it's still over, and, you know, I need you to stop or whatever.
It's almost kind of, at least in my relatively brief experience with this sort of situation, I think it's kind of best to like take it like smoking, like quick cold turkey, because it's so hard, but it's ultimately easiest to do that, I feel like, because if you're like still friends with that person on Facebook or still texting them occasionally or like seeing them on Twitter or whatever, they'll be on your mind. And because it is kind of like a habit in a sense that you have to break and you have to like train yourself to not go back to, I really think that even if it doesn't have to be for forever, but even just like for 6 months or a few months, depending on what your situation is with that person, or even longer depending, you know, but just like totally cut off contact. And to me, in my experience, it's really hard at the beginning, but it's also after the difficulty, kind of like, after that period of time where it's like kind of a shock, it makes it easier to get over that person. That's my 2 cents.
Just cut it off and let the stump heal.
Yeah, and it really, it's really hard, but that's what I did in my last relationship, and honestly, that was best for both of us, because we didn't really want to do, the same song and dance over and over again. So.
It's kind of scary, too, leaving, that base that you're so comfortable with.
Yeah.
That's what old flames really are. It's just someone that you feel comfortable being maybe romantic or sexual around, instead of, a new stranger person. And even though you know it doesn't work, they are comfortable, and it's so easy to fall back into that. So.
Yeah. That's well said. That's true. So it is a habit you have to break, essentially.
Yeah.
And it sucks.
It's
hard, but it's worth it.
Sometimes your ex is like heroin. You just can't stop. But eventually you'll stop breathing. So.
Yeah.
That's true.
But,
wise, harsh, and true words from Alex.
Wise, harsh. Don't inject them.
Yeah.
They're too vain for track marks.
I hope we help, without knowing the situation. It sounds like this person is not a good person for her, and she probably should not be, as difficult as it is, she probably should not be engaging this guy if he's going to continue to treat her poorly. That's true. And just, not engaging him at all in terms of not responding and all. I would put my vote in for that. And it's hard, but...
Wholeheartedly. Do we have any other questions? Or let me check the Twitter feed. The Twitter universe. Twitter.
I think we might have a question.
We have a question?
All right.
Let me check. Oh, man. Okay, so we have an anonymous friend who wants to know, what should we do if my lover has a fetish that I'm not into?
Ooh, good question.
This is some Dan Savage material here.
I like to think that we're like Dan Savage 2, 3, and 4.0.
I hope so.
But,
sure.
Yeah, we're on our way.
Yeah.
Look, I can feel...
We maybe cannot talk about,
what is the word?
On somebody, maybe.
I don't know. Well, okay, it depends how crazy the fetish is. I guess regardless of what the fetish is, it comes down to that you're not comfortable with whatever it is. So it's a conversation that you definitely both need to have, because you should never have to do anything that makes you uncomfortable, but also sometimes the person that you're dating, if it's what they really, really, really want, then, it's not necessarily fair to them also to have to get rid of it. But, because they should feel fulfilled as well. So compromise has to be made if you want to make the relationship work, or someone's going to end up unhappy.
Yeah.
My general rule is try everything once. So if it's a fetish that you don't feel comfortable with just because you don't know anything about it, you don't know how you will react to it, go ahead and try it. Give it a try. I mean, as long as it's something that isn't harmful in any way physically, then I think go for it. Take that plunge. Try the fetish. If you decide that it's something that you really don't like and you don't get it, then that's the point where you can kind of talk to your partner and say that's really not for you, and that's where you need to make a compromise and find out if there's any way to incorporate a smaller version or a less weird version, not weird, but a less extreme version of the fetish.
That's great advice. Yeah, I think definitely try anything once, because unless it's harmful or illegal in a immoral way, then maybe don't do that. But
what is it? Lost profits don't be lost profits.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of that band?
No.
Yeah.
I've only got arrested for raping that baby. So.
Oh God.
Don't do that.
Yeah,
don't
definitely.
do that. Please
no
don't
baby
do that.
rape.
No, anything that's illegal or child.
Yeah.
Don't kill anyone. But if it's something that's seemingly harmless for the most part, go for it. Try it out. And because the person that you're with will probably appreciate it so much, because if they were willing to tell you about something that they weren't sure how you're going to feel, then they trust you a lot. So don't shoot them down immediately.
And if that person really does care about you and you do try it out and they see that you're not enjoying it, I think that's going to take away a lot from their experience as well. If they don't see that you're comfortable with it, they're probably not going to be comfortable with it either. And they won't push you to try it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I think to add on to that, because I think y'all said it really well, is that like if it's something that is just, if it's a fetish that you've tried it and you don't feel comfortable accommodating it, but it's something that is just kind of integral to like how they experience sexuality, then there could be a compromise in terms of like, you know, maybe like say you have like a spanking fetish, maybe there's like a group they go to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I think that's
Or,
kind of like,
yeah.
it could be a good compromise.
Or
like,
even
something
like,
you really don't
like
feel
if you
with.
absolutely hate it and it's like literally the most disgusting, horrible thing to you, then like one, you should probably seriously consider your relationship with this person and whether or not that you can be together, because whether it's their fault or your fault, like maybe you're just not sexually compatible in that way, and that's an important part of a relationship. Mm-hmm. And two, if you're not like totally disgusted, but you're also not like super into it, like, you know, maybe humor them once a month or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, sex is about both of you, and like sometimes it's not all about you. You know, like if you really love the person, then do what makes them happy once every couple weeks or months or something. You know, birthdays, I don't know. Yeah. Like, look, if the worst thing that your boyfriend wants to do or girlfriend is like spank you or like, I don't know, yeah, urinate on you, do it in the shower, please God. Do it in the shower if that's what you want. You know, just close your eyes and it'll be over in you know, like there's so much worse. If you really fucking love them, you can handle it. People sacrifice a lot, and you know what? I'm sure that they will appreciate it so much. And if they don't appreciate it, then that's also something to talk about.
And again, I think, and it totally depends on how, like, what kind of relationship you have and how comfortable you are with this sort of stuff. But I think that, well, two thoughts here. One, going back to what I said, if it is something that is really integral to their sexuality, helping them explore that in a different forum, but like keeping a really open line of communication between you guys could be an option. If it's something that you just don't feel comfortable with, that this person does care about a lot. And, you know, because there's like different groups and meetup things that you know, can explore with your partner. Furries. Whatever it might be. And again, it could be an issue of like incompatibility, although I think, you know, we all kind of have our things that to various extremes, you know, it could be more extreme or it could not be, you know, where like we're into it, like you're into it, but your partner's not or whatever. But two, I think that's why it's also important to, you know, when you first start like sleeping with somebody or dating somebody, you don't want to like necessarily ask a lot. Like, you're not necessarily having like big open conversations about like what you like and don't like in bed and sex and all that. But I think that's why it's important to have those conversations relatively early on. That way you get an idea of like that person's boundaries and that person's like what turns them on and whatever. That way it's not like necessarily a total drastic surprise when a few months, you know, or a few years, whatever, down the road, they're like, by the way, I'm not going to underwear. You know, so try to like talk about that stuff relatively early on in the relationship. Makes it a little bit easier.
Do we have any questions?
Yeah, I have a bit of a paranormal question.
Ooh, okay.
I think there's a ghost in my house. What should I do?
Do you have something to say about that? I have
yeah, go Kelsey, go.
I personally have not dealt with ghosts, but I have some extended family in South Texas who did have their house kind of, not exorcised, but they did have somebody come and visit their home and let them know whether they had ghosts. And matter of fact, they did, and that ghost was friendly, which surprised me a lot. Yeah, so you can't do that. Have a paranormal, I don't know what you call it, like a ghost hunter, but I don't know what the official term is.
I think a really good low budget, almost temporary solution is go ahead and buy some sage, specifically burning sage, and go throughout your apartment or house and just burn sage in every single corner, every little nook and cranny you can find, and that is a pretty good solution. It will ease any restless spirits you have, and yeah, that's my one thing. That's something that you can. That would probably be like your first step. If some freaky shit is still going on in your house, then call a professional.
Call yourself a Catholic priest.
Wait, is this
yeah, it depends, because, I mean, here's my thoughts on ghosts. One, I would love to have a haunted apartment. Two, so, let me know, and I'll move in. But in all seriousness, I mean, I don't even know if ghosts exist. If they do, there's some sort of science behind it that we haven't discovered yet. But, it depends. I mean, if the ghost moves around your clock or something every once in a while, just think of it as a weird roommate. Don't worry about it too much. Oh, everyone's so afraid. Just think of it like an invisible toddler. I don't know. They bumped into a table.
That's true. Okay.
I mean, unless you feel threatened, it's probably not that big of a deal. Just think of it kind of like an annoying roommate. I mean, unless you're willing to go spend the money to get it exercised. Or try to communicate it with a Ouija board or something
Well, from what I have seen from plenty of movies and horror stories online, definitely do not try to contact the spirit if it seems hostile in any form. If you do try to contact it, beware, it might only give it more powers.
That's true. If it does seem hostile, don't fuck with it.
I think we learned that from the Paranormal Activity movies.
Which I didn't.
Well, that was actually a demon. That was yeah. So definitely make sure that if your apartment is haunted, make sure that it's a ghost that is not trying to I don't know, throw knives at you, which is the equivalent of another really bad.
No, I don't know.
But we have a message actually.
Oh, okay.
It says, "What do you like to think about during breakfast?"
Ooh.
Good question.
What do we like to think about during breakfast?
I personally don't really eat breakfast. I know that's a big no-no, but I usually skip it. On the days that I do eat breakfast, it's days when I wake up pretty late, embarrassingly late, and then I do have breakfast. During breakfast time, though, I'm usually thinking, holy shit, I'm so late for work, and I need to hurry my butt up.
That's true.
Yeah. Breakfast thoughts.
Breakfast thoughts versus brunch thoughts.
Brunch
thoughts are
well, brunch is always
President
relaxing.
Brunch expert.
I think actually all meals are just brunch. That's I call lunch is late brunch, breakfast is early brunch. Brunch is regular brunch.
Very good philosophy.
And dinner is just super late brunch. So, but I'm also gay, so that's the only vernacular I have for food.
Join us afterwards for late brunch.
Yeah, we're gonna have some late brunch at midnight tonight. Post brunch.
Pre brunch.
But I mean breakfast. Obviously there's the worry and thoughts of oh fuck, have to hurry. But you could try to wake up early and make your breakfast thoughts happy. Relaxing thoughts to set you off on a good vibe for the rest of the day. So.
I think, when I get up, I wish that this weren't the case, but I'm pretty much immediately on some form of technology. And I think in an ideal world, I usually meditate in the shower, 5, 10, 15, 30 minutes, depending. But I take a few minutes during breakfast and just do that for a little while. And I know that sounds like some hippie bullshit, but I'm just telling you, just today I was reading about the importance of meditation, and just take those few minutes while you're chomping on your cereal or Greek yogurt and granola, and
I had that today.
It's
Greek yogurt with granola in it and little blueberries.
Yes.
So fucking amazing. You should try it. It's really good.
We'll do a little. I'd like to have the person who asked this question come on for a special breakfast theme.
Breakfast edition. We're gonna do instead of 10:30. We're gonna 10:30 p.m. We'll try 10:30 a.m.
Yeah. Hey, what's up? Good idea.
We could have a brunch episode.
A brunch episode.
Yeah, I feel like a brunch episode would be great. We
Yeah.
all have mimosas.
Thanks for that wonderful idea.
Yeah, thank you.
Anonymous person.
Anonymous
on the
viewer.
internet.
I think I can shout her out. It's Caitlin. Hi, Caitlin. She's asking me to
Hey,
be
Caitlin.
scandalous. I don't think breakfast is scandalous for Caitlin, so I'm going to assume that. But I hope we help, clear your mind a little bit. Or, I don't know.
If you're not a morning person, I think something that could really get you up and get you going is just look at some cute animal videos to start your day off. That is the best thing ever. Even if you're having a pretty okay day, it can go from pretty okay to excellent with cute kittens, cute little tiger
There's
videos.
some pretty adorable little baby goat videos.
Oh, baby goats are my thing.
So, did we want to have our sex therapist?
Dr. Fitchner, is
Dr.
that
Fitchner,
you?
Is that your eye?
Dr. Fitchner, come.
She's come to talk to us
Oh,
today about.
Here, sit in the middle. I'll sit on them. Okay.
She's come here to talk to us today about how to handcuff your lover.
She got her degree in Harvard and
Yeah, Harvard Sex Therapy, which is
Sex
actually in New Mexico and not related to Harvard.
University in New
Yeah.
Mexico.
No, Harvard Sex University.
Harvard.
Harvard.
Harvard, not Harvard.
Oh,
Harvard.
Harvard.
I was so missing forward when I came on this show. Oh no.
Harvard.
Harvard.
Sex.
Harvard.
Yeah. So, what do you have to say about cuffing your lover? Do you have anything to bring onto the show with us?
First off, here's a little something we'd like to show you.
Yep. It's called fuzzy hand.
Dr. Fincher knows a thing or two about
I know
those,
they
thing
don't
or
teach
two
you in
about
school.
these. First off, I'd say for the beginner, we would probably start off with fuzzy handcuffs. You want to do regular handcuffs, pretty painful, probably for the more extreme, experienced handcuffer.
Question.
Yes.
We're in bed.
Yes.
Okay. And you have not been with me
Kelsey,
very
you
much.
scoot closer.
Oh, excuse me. Oh my God. Okay. You have not been with me very much, and so you're like, maybe this would freak her out if I just pull these out, but you still want to be sexy and not just know anything enough. So you're going to be like, wait, I'm gonna handle you now.
Exactly.
You're just gonna be like, can I?
How do you feel about restraint?
These are the ones to do it.
Yeah, but how do you ask? How
Pull
do
them
you
out kind of like a joke, maybe?
Possibly.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, as a little bit of
Just
joke,
see how they
to
take
see
it.
how they react. I think you can ask, hey, do you want to play with something? Do you want to play with some toys, maybe? And if they say, you don't have to mention handcuffs or
It'd be
whatever
like, I'm
the
going
toy
to
is.
shove this inside you.
Exactly.
Oh, no.
You might not want to say that. Just be like, hey, do you want to play with something? Play with some toys? And then if they say sure. I think these are the first step to playing with toys.
Yeah. I think so.
But if they're like, I'm not into that, then you know.
Yeah. And I think bringing it up you can do it as a little bit of a joke,
Yeah.
hey,
Judge the reaction, and from there be like, oh, that was such a funny joke.
Yeah.
come over here.
Just saying.
Now, okay, what if you don't have the perfectly positioned bedpost? What do you handcuff them to?
Well, you just put
Themselves.
their hands behind the back.
Behind the back.
Okay,
Yeah.
Or
That's true.
I've got
Clearly, I was
two hands.
not thinking about
I have
that.
two
I was
hands and
what
ankles.
you chain them to?
So you can do them in front, and if you do them in front, then they can still have the mobility of doing things to you, doing things with themselves. So that would be a first step.
Thank you, Dr.
If you want to get a little more advanced, do it behind the back, so they have less mobility. You're more in control of them.
Definitely all depends on how submissive you are.
Exactly. It depends on how submissive
Some
you
people
are.
can be very submissive.
Exactly, yeah. And if you're just starting out with it and you're not sure, then probably do it in front. So that you're not totally freaked out, and then you can actually just undo it yourself.
Yeah.
That's true.
This is also
If you want.
if you want to get more involved in it, they make other more I believe they have leather ones that are
Harder to get out of.
harder to get out of
That's
and
step
probably
two.
more comfortable.
Yeah.
If you try this out and decide ooh, that's wonderful, I love
Exactly.
this.
They also have cloth ones with Velcro, and so they just Velcro on, Velcro off, so they're very sturdy. That's another.
Okay.
They're very soft. Vegan rope.
And-
rope.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, we have been forever wanting to go to the erotic rope tying class.
Oh, yes.
I haven't
We need
forgotten
to
found
go.
her
If any viewers want to come to the erotic rope tying class with us at some
We'll
point,
keep you notified via social media.
Do it. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, I'm doing it fine because you're like not too sure about me.
oh yeah, all right, let's see this happen.
Okay, all right. I won't put my hands like that. That's
Oh my
not
God, my
sexy.
butt is on fire.
That's not sexy.
Oh.
Okay,
Oh shit. What?
my hands casually out here.
There you go.
Step one.
Step 1, undo the
It's been a while
handcuffs.
since Dr. Finch.
Step one, sorry. Sorry.
Where I
Okay,
got this joke.
So you're like, you're not quite sure, and then, so I'm gonna do one,
Okay.
and then you're gonna see how you feel about
Do
it.
you guys want
I'm laughing
here,
already.
Kelsey?
I'm like, oh.
Kelsey, let's switch spots so you
Okay.
can aim
Oh,
towards
okay.
the camera.
Okay. All right. Oh well, this is really funny. Like I played with toys before. Like I'm talking about my feelings. I'm not gonna want to seem like a total.
Right.
Okay.
And so I'm gonna say, like, does this feel okay? Does it hurt?
And I'm trying to be sexy. So I'm like, yeah. No, it doesn't hurt. I mean, like,
Also, determine before if you guys actually want to do like the sexy, like, but yeah.
yes, it does hurt. Okay.
Okay. Is it too tight?
Yeah.
Are you okay with it?
I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good.
And so I'm gonna do the second one.
Okay. Oh, this is making me nervous now. I'm
Full
like,
fighter? Okay.
okay.
And so how do you feel? How it goes on?
There's a
You
little
can
bit of
do things. You can do.
Can you touch other things?
You can touch other things.
If I reach forward with
No hands. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I feel comfortable.
Right.
I don't feel too restrained to where I potentially feel unsafe if I've only slept with you once.
Exactly.
But I'm feeling like flexible.
Yeah. Yeah. You can do things with them, but then they can also grab and do things with you.
Oh,
Do that kind of stuff.
Lead you around. Are you guys getting any ideas? We already have a. We already have.
Non-fuzzy.
Yeah.
Good. See?
Yeah. And
Try
so
things out. Don't be boring.
you can do all sorts of things, but when you're possibly lying down, it's a little more difficult to stand up.
You don't want to be
Yeah. Right. But that could be, the point of the handcuff is that you can't stand up.
Oh yeah. Well yeah, that's
So.
yeah. That's good.
So there you go. There's the beginner's handcuffs would be in the front, I would
Yeah.
say.
In the front, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
That's step 2.
we're a little bit out of time now,
Oh,
but
okay.
Elyana, you want to come back
I'll
and
just
we can
keep
all come and say
No, let's
goodbye.
get that, okay?
Ooh, don't be on fire.
cross my arms with them.
All
Thank
right.
you, Dr. Fincher, for coming from Hartford University.
Hartford.
Harvard Sex
Harvard.
University. PhD is that?
PhD
and
with a D.
PhD with a D. That's
and
right.
a
That's
D.
what they actually call it. Harvard D. And thank you for listening and watching. I mean,
Yeah,
listening.
and thank you, Elyana, for being with us. And
Always
Kelsey,
a pleasure.
We'll uncuff you later. All right, so we'll be back. I think we're going to start doing Wednesdays. So Wednesdays sound good. Things are just changing up a little bit. Sorry for
Sunday
the hiatus.
isn't right anymore.
Yeah, Sunday just Game of Thrones. So,
Yeah.
but we'll see you guys next week, and we're gonna start putting out flyers, and we're going to actually start working our social media. So we're gonna try to make this work over the summer.
Keep an eye out, and maybe we'll post some articles and more fun tips.
Woo!
All right.
Bye.